Welcome to the tutorial on how to find an equation of a line if you're given points. What if you're given your points using a t-chart? Well, we have our independent variables here, and we have our dependent variables in this column. So how do we actually find an equation for a line given these points? Well, the first thing to note is we're going to be using what's called point slope form. And the general form for this in an equation is y equals mx plus b. Something in here should look familiar. You see a y, you see an x, but you also see an m. So how do we get from this to this? Well, what we have to do first is we need to find m. And we know that m equals the slope. And we can find the slope by looking at 2 points. So let's choose our 2 points. So I'm actually going to choose the points 20 and 14. And I'm going to choose 10 and 7. Those are the points I'm going to choose. So I'm going to choose 10, 7, and 20, 14. Now, these sets of points are my number 1 points, and these sets of points are my number 2 points. And we know that slope, if you recall from previous tutorials, to find slope, it's y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So if I go ahead and slot in my points, I have 14 minus 7 all over 20 minus 10. That leaves me with 7/10. Okay, great, Miss Carla. Now I found my m for my point slope form equation, but how do I deal with the rest? How do I know what y's, what x's, what is a b? The rest of it actually is pretty simple. It's just a matter of memorizing. In order to get to here, I'm going to do this. It's y minus y1 equals m, which we found, times x minus x1. And because I'm going to use my x1 points, that's these ones here, so I know x1 equals 10, and I know y1 equals 7. I can go ahead and slot these numbers right into this formula here. So I have y minus 7 equals, and I have my mx plus my m, which is 7 over 10, times x minus 10. So now I can go ahead and simplify this. So I have y minus 7 equals 7 over 10x minus 7 over 10 times 10. So I can get rid of those. And then I can deal with my 7 here, so that means I have to add 7 to both sides. So y equals 7 over 10x minus 7 plus 7, and again, those cancel out. So that means my equation is y equals 7 over 10x. Now this one does not have anything what we call in the b section because our 7's here canceled each other out. But they would, if there was something in here, this equation that equaled something here, then we would have a b value here. But we don't with this example. Let's look at a data set. Maybe we'll come up with a b value in the next example. So what if I'm given a data set? So I'm going to have to follow the same things. I have a set of data. The first thing I have to do, find m, because I know I have to get it into y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1. So I need to find m first. So what points do I want to use? Well, I'm going to use 311 and 59. So these are my number 2 points. These ones are my number 1 points. So again, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That gives me putting in my points, I have 9 minus 11 over 5 minus 3, and that leaves me with minus 2 over 2, which is equal to minus 1. So there is my m value. That's going to go right there. Now, to fill in the rest, I have y minus. Which points do I want to use? I'm going to use the first set of points just because it's easier for me. So y minus 11, it equals, there's my minus 1 times x minus 3. So I'm going to go ahead and simplify this. So I have minus 1 times x minus 3. I'm just going to go ahead and add 11 to both sides just to move that over, and then I'll deal with this part here. So I have y equals minus x plus 3. Then I have still my plus 11. So finish simplifying, I have minus x plus 14. Now if you'll recall, what did I say? It was y equals mx plus b. Now I have a y equals mx, and look, I have a plus b. I have a positive 14 in that spot. This is going to come in to be important as we go into the next tutorial. Now, what happens if I'm given just a graph? And it's got points marked on it. This graph does. How am I going to go ahead and deal with it this way? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is, as I look at my points, I know I have a point here, I got a point here, a point here, and a point here. So if I look, this one's 12 and 10. I have 8 and 5. I got 4 and 0, and then I have 0 and this is at minus 5. So I can choose any of these points. I'm going to choose this point and I'm going to choose this point. So my points that I'm choosing the points. I have 0, minus 5, and I have that I'm choosing 0 and 4. I'm just going to pick those first points. So again, the first thing I have to do, I have to find m, or my slope, or my rate of change, whichever you'd like to call it, but I need to find that m value first. So these are my points number 1, and these ones are my points number 2. So I have 4 minus minus 5 over, oops, I wrote this one wrong, so let's clean that up. That's why it looked a little odd. So we need to fix that. So let's fix this again. So we have 0 minus minus 5. Some of you might be going, what did she do? I just mixed up these points. This point here is 4, 0. So then I have 4 minus 0 on the bottom. So again, x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1. So what does that give me? That gives me plus 5 on the top, 4 on the bottom, so 5/4. So that's my m value. Now I need to go ahead and put it in to my y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. So y minus, what is my y1? Let's choose this one, minus 0. And it equals, there's my 5/4 for my m, times x minus x1, and it is 4. So I have y, minus 0 is just y, and I have 5/4 x, minus, and I have 5/4 times 4, and of course I can cross those two out. So I have y equals 5/4 x minus 5. And that's my equation for the line.